Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of So What's Been Happening. This one is episode 221 on a Tuesday night, the 9th of June 2026. So a really exciting one, another release, which is always great. This one, the album Boss, a debut album, but by no means are these guys new. The Vors, I get a chance tonight to have a chat to Davor, Pavlovic. I hope I get that right in the pronunciation, but we're about to find out. Uniquely titled as Lord Vor tonight, the captain of the Vors. Let's bring him up. G'day, Davor. How are you?
G'day, team. How are you, man? Aaron, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me on a Tuesday night, kicking back.
No worries at all, dude. No worries. Wasn't doing much else, Pleasure to be here.
Well, you have actually. You've been doing a fair bit recently. The band's up and firing and plenty going on.
I think for us, it comes in spurts. It's a hobby that's gone, a hobby that's run wild. So we tend to sort of have these saturated chunks of commitments, and then it goes silent. So when you say that we've been busy, we've just sort of been very silent for the last month or two. We've been played some shows down in Melbourne in I can't even remember when, 2 months ago. Yeah. And we sort of sat quiet because as I said, it's a hobby for a few guys in the band have careers that obviously life dictates, and that priorities take their place. So we've been busy, but it feels like we've been quiet. But we just had our debut record launch on the weekend, which was a cracker of a night. So yeah, I don't know.
Perfect. All right, let's start there. Talk to me about the launch. How'd it go? The album's been out for a month or so now. How was it received?
It's been out for a month. It's exciting. It's fun. There's so many parts to a debut album that's that is exciting. Particularly being able to hold a vinyl in your hand. That's something that none of us have ever done before. So that was exciting. Then the launch itself, it's like hosting a party, bro. I was just nervous all night about who was not there as opposed to who was there. And the focus was, I feel this intense obligation to have success, not just for us, but for the venue. I want everyone to come out feeling like it was a good decision to have us there. So when there was queues of people out the door and people couldn't get in, that was exciting as well, dude. That was kind of like, just one of those moments you go, oh, fuck, we got it done.
Some relief, some to say, for sure.
Absolutely. Because I'm not negative, but there's a part of me that kind of is still pondering our place in what we're doing, and I kind of just had that little bit of self-doubt. It was a long weekend. I didn't realize that when we booked the gig that we were falling on the long weekend. A lot of people are out of town. I was looking for a support act to support us, and I'd reached out to nearly 25 bands in total. Everyone was out of town. Everyone had someone who was going to be somewhere else, and it was this wild thing. Alana Russack, who supported us, who's an old friend, she supported us back in February. We did this little acoustic thing together, and I in my mind was thinking, oh yeah, let's put on a night of like just rock and roll chaos. We'll get someone who's faster paced, heavier like we are, kind of thing. And I just couldn't find it. I couldn't get anyone to go, yep, can do. And eventually I just went, fuck, Alana, you know what, you got to help us out. which was absolutely the right idea, because it just created this really, really awesome night where there was this, she got up there on her guitar, performed solo, and it was just a beautiful ambience. Not that people weren't watching her, but it sort of just then gave us the opportunity to be noisy and ruckus to this thing that was really soft and beautiful. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Sometimes you can overthink it, reach too far, head too
Oh,
big,
100% guilty of
and that's
all.
right in your
Guilty of all.
backyard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great to have her open for you. All right, we're going to kick it off with Human Being in brackets, Jelly Bean. Here it is.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm climbing up a mountain, I'm falling down a hill. My legs are moving fast and my life is standing still. Crawling across the desert and I'm trying to find a drink. I'm living in a bucket with no room to think. Whoa-oh, whoa-oh. Just a human being, jelly bean. Thought I was different but it's yet to be seen. I'm just a human being, jelly bean. Thought I was on the edge but I'm somewhere in between. Oh, I thought that I was special, special. Turns out I'm nothing but normal, normal. Oh shit. Swimming across the ocean, I'm paddling in a pond. The days are short and the days are long. Sitting on the couch and I'm waiting on a thrill. Climbing up a mountain, I'm falling down a hill. Whoa-oh, whoa-oh. Just a human being, jelly bean. Thought I was different but it's yet to be seen. I'm just a human being, jelly bean. Thought I was on the edge, but I'm somewhere in between. Oh, I thought that I was special, special. Turns out I'm nothing but normal, normal. 'Cause I'm like
There you go. We're going to leave you hanging a little bit tonight on a few of these songs to let you investigate a little more about the Vors and this debut album, Boss. Talk to me about its place. This one, it's about finding a place in amongst all this madness of the world these days. Talk to me a little bit about this one first.
When you say this one, are we talking about the album or the actual song Human Being, Jelly Bean?
Human Being as a song, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that one was, you know, I was having this little Devo moment in my life, and I was just kind of writing songs that were Devo-esque. And I guess I was trying to give the song a little bit of space and whatnot, but it's a cool, fun little punk song. But I think also I love writing lyrics and I want my lyrics to make sense. And for me, the song very much is about just that struggle. I say we all have. I don't know whether we all have, but I do. That there's that part of me that wants to feel special and unique and something that's elevated. But then the flip side is I just want to be normal as well. You know what I mean? And it's this push-pull kind of thing. And you know, the lyrics, you know, I'm climbing up a mountain, I'm falling down a hill. It's like, what am I doing? I don't know. Am I going up or down? You know, I'm driving around the parking spot. I'm sorry, what was it? Fuck, I'm not going to repeat lyrics. I can't even remember them now. But anyway, that is the gist of the song. It's just this push-pull that I have with myself about wanting to do cool and special shit in my life, but at the same time, I just want to be normal as well, you know?
Yeah. That
And I
constant
don't know.
wrestle, isn't it? With exactly that. What's normal and normality, and what's becomes individualistic, or is that something you guys individually or as a total collection of band members? Do you think you're all kind of gripping with parts of both of those at different times?
Oh, I think. Well, I think I can't answer that for the other guys, to be honest. I think we are having so much fun with what we're doing, and cool things happen for us. And we have very much got a very duplicit existence when it comes to the band and what we do outside of the band. We're all older and we've got a very established life. And I don't think any of us struggle with what we do musically because we all love it. If anything, it's just meeting the demands of what we've chosen to do on a day-to-day level, with also what we're choosing to do with our music, because as I said, it's very duplicit. We've got to work day jobs, and then it's like, all right, let's fly to Melbourne and try and rack in 3 gigs over a weekend, and then fly back and pretend that you're just a regular dude at work doing what's asked of you for your dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And described as a sun-drenched, bottle blonde, 50-plus Beach Bay band. Pretty cool title. Who came up with that? Who came up with that title? And does it reflect you guys at all, other than the 50-plus?
Nah, it doesn't. You know what it was? I was trying. It's a really hard thing to write a bio. So this band that we're currently in, the Vors, like, we've all been in other bands, we've all done other things, and me and Peter, the drummer, we've been best friends since we were in our 20s. I remember him coming to my 21st birthday, but we've so I've lost my train of thought. What I was going to say. Can you repeat the question?
That's all right.
This is being older.
That's all right. You're talking about putting together a bio and you guys as a band.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's where I was going. Sorry, is we, with what we're doing with the Vors, with everyone being busy, I guess I'm the person trying to just pull in the things that are needed for the band, the other things apart from playing music. So I had to write the bio, I do our social media, I try and do the artwork for the posters, all those things. So it's become this other sort of platform for creativity for me. But when it came to the bio, it's so hard to write something about yourself and not sound like you're fucking at a church weekend, or whether you're an absolute wanker. So I tried to write something that was funny. I tried to write something that was relative. Three of us live in Bondi, and so be it. Long answer for it.
That's all right. Beautifully covered. And that kind of brings us to this great man, Chris Familton, Publicity. Thanks, Famo, again for hooking us up together with the boys from the Vors. I'm really excited to see you guys out there. I missed you guys in Melbourne. I can't believe out of the few gigs you played, I still missed it. But it'll be good to see you back again, hopefully soon, or maybe a trip to Sydney is on offer.
Well, listen, if we can help you out, we will, most definitely. But we've come to this realization that you can oversaturate a small fan base very quickly and easily, you know. So we're trying. There's a point where we're just trying to play every other weekend up here in Sydney, and it's exciting at first because your friends and people show up, and then slowly that peters out, and all of a sudden you're playing to 5 or 6 people, and it's kind of like, all right, I get it. So Melbourne will probably come down again before the end of the year.
Great to hear.
But not next week.
Yes, look forward to it. And how important is it to have someone like Chris Familton on behind the scenes for you guys now. Obviously, gives you a little bio to play with. Gives him something to play with to put out there with you guys. But it's really important. You guys are 50 plus, just trying to get to do what you do, write and record music, play music. Most importantly, you've all got other gigs. You're all busy. It's really important that someone takes this new part of the world, which is the social media and all the hookups, and gets that done.
100%. It's you can. It's like, I guess it's like a business. People have these great ideas, they get things off the ground, and then all of a sudden they need capital or help or whatever it is, and that's exactly what we needed. We sort of got it to this point, but we couldn't take it any further. We don't have contacts, the know-how, all those things. And I guess the first step in that journey for us was Wally Meany taking us on board Cheer Squad Records. And when we started talking about putting out a record, he's like, well, Chris Hamilton's going to be on board with that 100%. He's our guy. And we're so appreciative. He's so thorough. So just, it's just doing things that we can't, obviously. That's why you got people like him. You bring them into your world.
Yep, absolutely. And they're well received, and he does an incredible job. Keep pushing them out there, Famo. If you're lucky enough to work with Chris Hamilton, he's doing a hell of a job for pushing music in amongst trying to do his own. Bring it back, Famo. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
All right. Here's an interesting title. It's a long one for a radio announcer. Probably gets beeped out here and there, let's face it, in today's world. But you treat me like an arsehole, or do you? Here it is.
No, I don't. I never have.
Here it is. You treat me like one. It's an interesting title in today's world. I think sometimes we all kind of still feel like we've been treated like one at times. And the core vision is to not try and treat someone like one. What's your thoughts on
What's
reflection of that?
well, my wife hates, no, she hates is the wrong word, but she hates the fact that she regularly, when we play, and if she comes along, without a doubt, someone will tap her on the shoulder and say, "Did he write that about you?" And it's just like, as I say to her, I said, you know, you wouldn't pick up a book like a book of fiction and go, well, who is that about? I mean, people just invent these stories, and
Nope.
that's what that song was for me. I was just like goofing around on my guitar one day, and I don't know why the lyrics came out, and I was just thinking, oh yeah, tortured love song. Here's one for those that, you know, on the receiving end of a bad relationship, and you know, it's an anti-love song. That's what it is, and
Okay.
that's, you know, pretty much where that came from. But I tell you what I do love about that song is the video clip, and I
Great.
watch it every now and then, just because Peter, our drummer, right, when we did that video clip, we were just like, all right, we're just going to follow this car around. We're going to go around this block a couple of times. It's going to be a single shot. Just that's what a $0 video clip looks like. And we were doing it, and I was just like, all right, one thing, all you have to do is, when it comes to your part in the song, if you sing it, just sing it. So Chris and Ed are on their pushies chiming in on the chorus, and Peter doesn't sing at all, but needed to be front and center. He almost comes across as the protagonist in that film. It looks like the asshole. And the funniest thing is, at some point, I don't know what happens. It comes off shot, and then somehow he's managed to crash into a tree. And then he's trying to get back on his bicycle and catch up to us. Anyway, I watch it every now and then, just think, I don't even know what the fuck happened then. That was just,
Yeah.
just one of
Perfect.
those funny things. Yeah.
Well, you got to have a good blooper in amongst that, and how you didn't come
Oh,
across traffic and all that amongst that is. But some of the great fun is putting together a clip on a tune. You know, how important has that been to develop over time? And a visual sense of the artistry as well is
yeah,
pretty bloody important.
man, it is so important. And, you know, just, it's so, it's content. That's one thing, right? But that seems, well, it's become a thing. You need to have content, right? So you do your gigs, you've got to make promos, you've got to do posters, and a video for a song. I know that's historically always been part of it, but we also now live, everyone's got phones, man. You can make your videos yourself, and we love it. We're planning on doing another one very soon. In fact, I've got a couple on the hop, but we really enjoy making these video clips. But for us, it's about doing a $0 budget clip. How can we do something that's easy to edit, sort of reflects something that is related to the song, that isn't just purely about us standing there playing our guitars in front of, you know, a camera. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I really like it. There's, as I said before, there's so many sort of offshoots to this project that have become just another area in which I get to express my creativeness. And I mean, I stopped drawing when I was like 15 or 16. I don't know why. I just got really intimidated by other kids at school who,
Okay.
I was always a drawer, and these kids could just, all of a sudden, I was not the best drawer in the class, and it kind of freaked me out, and I just packed it up. But since we've had this band, I did a flyer. I did a flyer for a band we were playing with, and they reached me back and went, "Is that AI?" And I went, "Oh, it sort of is. 80% of it is." And then I sort of hand draw what doesn't happen correctly. And they're like, "Oh, look, we got this. We're a no AI band." I'm like, "All right." I actually said, "Well, how else do you write music?" And they were like, "Oh, we're involved with the wrong people." That was a joke, by the way. But anyway, so I decided I need to start drawing the flyers myself. And then I just remembered, fuck, I can draw, and I just really enjoy it. And I actually don't care what other people really think about what I'm doing. And I guess that's the beauty of being older. I'm just starting to please myself with the things that I do creatively. And I guess that's what it feels like. I don't know how other people interpret it, but it feels to me unpretentious. We're just
Yeah.
doing what we want, the way we want to do it now.
Yep. It's bloody good way to be. And for all young bands that are worrying about comparing themselves and doing all those kind of things, what can you tell a young band now after all these years that you're putting out a debut album in your 50s? What advice can you give to these young kids?
What advice? Just don't reinvent the. I mean, we've got to be. I suppose there's two ways of looking at it. One is don't reinvent the wheel, is what I was going to say, but I think that's for us. We can just. We're very, very firm in our understanding of what our sound is, and I guess people need to explore it and find their sounds. And that, I think there's a certain amount of pretense with anything rock and roll. You're pretending on some level to be something. We all borrow from something or somewhere. But I really think if I was to give advice to someone who was younger in a band, I would say give it everything, work really hard, because it's all about hard work. And I would say before you have commitments in your life that prevent you from doing the things that you want to do now with your music, just give it everything and be busy. Be busy. Write. And also, when we first started our band, the Vors, our original lead guitarist, this young cat called Floyd, he worked at the rehearsal studio where we rehearse, and he literally just finished his HSC, which is like year 12, and he was helping us set up the room one night, and he was telling us how we'd broken up with his band. As a joke, we said, well, jump in with us. And he was like, what? Okay, yeah, sure. So he jumped in with us, and he was playing with us for, I don't know, a year. He played on half those songs, on half the album. But he was very much, he's now in Canada pursuing his own music career. But I have conversations with him still, and we talk about music, and I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm hitting a wall with this song this way. That. I'm like, well, just explore other avenues. Like, try write that song that you've got now and do it in a country style and in a real country twang. And you'll have to find some different chords and something to make it fit and work. And then all of a sudden it'll open up another little thing. And then all of a sudden the song will progress. And again, I've gotten off track real quick and real far. But
that's all right.
I think it's important to be bold with your creativity. I think it's imperative that you work hard, and I think you should give it everything whilst you can.
Perfect.
Christ.
We got there. And a core influence that kind of really sneaks into the Vors sound. If there was one kind of mega influence for you in this band now, what would it be?
Are we talking about musical artists? Are we talking philosophy? I think if I think music, I think, there's so many things that sort of have shaped the music that I love to play personally. I think my favorite album of all time, and just remains my number one, which should change and doesn't, is David Bowie, Hunky Dory. But one of my favorite songs on that is Queen Bitch. And it's that guitar sound. And I've always loved, when I grew up, I missed the punk movement by about 1 or 2 years. I caught glam metal. So when my brothers, deep diving on Sex Pistols, Buzzcocks, and I don't know who else, you name it, I'm on Twisted Sister, a mad Kiss fan, always have been a mad Kiss fan. I love guitar-driven music, and I think prior to the Vors, we played in a band called The Morning, and we were prog rock. We loved Radiohead. We went, oh my God, and then we just start writing these epic songs that grow and turn to this big orchestral sort of, but none of us could really do it well. And when we started the Vors, I was just started exactly that. I was just decided to be unpretentious to my music, and I just was demoing songs that I started writing, just going, I just love punk pop bangers, you know, just.
Yeah.
But who exactly is my inspiration? I don't know. I fall
Yeah.
in love with so many bands and music and songs.
So in amongst that kind of forming of what the boundary really is around the Vors, what were you kind of trying to capture first? What were the bit you were trying to, was a non-negotiable, I guess?
I think I wanted to keep it simple. That was number one. I love fast songs. Not fast. Our songs aren't like particularly like crazy fast, but things that are like move with a certain amount of tempo. I wanted to stress our drummer Peter out a little bit because I when COVID came, I wrote this little I wrote a little EP of songs, and I called it Heroes of the Apocalypse, and I demoed them all, and I was honestly just thinking, the faster I get this, I could just tell that Peter would get the shits with me. And that was partly my motive. I was just going, oh my God, let's see how he handles this.
And in time, how'd it go?
Well, I think we've just all accepted that this is what we're doing and this is our sound, and we are a rock band. In fact, I find it really hard to actually categorize us because there's elements of so many different things that we do. I mean, we are, I would say, under the big banner of a pub rock band. We're guitar driven. We have elements of punk. We have elements of indie rock. And we're all fans of melody. And, you know, that's a big thing for me. I like to write songs that have hooks that appeal to me. Whether they appeal to other people, I'm not sure, but there's got to be a pop element to our songs.
Sure. So what tab do you sit under when you turn up at a record store and flick through the areas or the genres? Where are you pigeonholed right now? Where have they put you?
Fuck, that's a really good question. I would say indie rock.
Yep.
But
big
then
bucket.
again, you know, like, I know, but I have friends that listen to our album and or songs and stuff, and like, just, I think we tip our hat at the music we grew up with and the music that we love, and it's obvious who our influences are, but I don't feel like anyone would say, oh, that's a rip-off or anything like that. It's just sounds, chord changes, vibes and things. But a lot of those bands that people make reference to, because people are always making comparisons, is always 80s punk music, you know.
Yeah. So there's
be
a
it
challenge
the
for you.
Buzzcocks.
You need to grab a couple of records in a record store and you need to put them in multiple genre sections because you cover all those bases. So why should you sit in one bucket?
Exactly.
Yeah. Let someone else find you that where they least expect it. Maybe an 80s punk. Who knows? Let's look for that title. You'll find a Vors album. Here it is, the Boss album, beautiful orange vinyl that picks up that beautiful orange cone. Talk to me about that album cover. Where did it come from and what was the thoughts in that?
So a good friend of mine is an artist called Paul McNeil. He and we just had this relationship. I think Paul is 50% of his time is in New Zealand and the other 50% is in Byron Bay. So we're always communicating by telephone. But we just like to call each other up with these ideas, laugh about them because we like to be what we think is funny. And then we will, you know, next thing there'll just be a picture that Paul will draw or a photo that he'll put together or something. And yeah, he was responsible for that. I mean, I wanted to do the album cover because now I'm found my artistic flair again.
Yep.
But it's like there's no denying Paul is the guy who's responsible for our sort of larger band artwork. He's got so much experience. He's done record covers for everyone, man. He was doing that stuff back in the 80s. I'd love to be able to name some off the top of my head, but I can't. But anyway, we're privileged to have him on our team.
Absolutely. And the album Boss ends up being a 13-track album. Pretty cool. Did it sit on the number 13 for any reason, or that's the length of where the album sat?
It came down to time. So originally what happened for us is we started releasing songs. You start jamming, you start going, we sound cool, we should do gigs, and you start getting your confidence, and then it was like, oh, we should start recording. And then it was like, oh, what do we do from this point forwards? Because none of us had any real experience putting out music. So we decided that we were going to just start releasing a new single every 6 weeks. And that was just absurdly ambitious. And then throughout the course of 2024, we had all these songs recorded, an album's worth, and I'd been sending them out to people. And Wally called me up and was like, I'm loving this. Let's do a record. And the conversation originally was, well, cool. We've released 24 songs. Sorry, in 2024, we released enough songs to do an album. And I just thought that we could put them all onto one vinyl and call it a record. And Wally went, yeah, that's cool. But, you're going to release an album's worth of songs that have all been released as singles. There's no surprises for anyone. Is there any chance you could jump back in the studio and record anything new if you have it? We were like, oh, yeah, well, we can do that because we have. And so we jumped in and recorded 5 or 6 new songs. I can't remember exactly, but regardless, when it came time to putting the record together, a vinyl record obviously is not limited, but starts to be limited around the 20-minute mark each side. And all of a sudden we had these songs, and it's like, all right, how do you make 20 minutes work on one side and 20 minutes work on the other? And that's how it happened. It was just like, all right, I think we go 21 and 21. So slight lack of quality. A slight lack of quality in pressing.
Yes.
Well,
okay. All right. Hi Vis Lo Res. This kind of sums up a lot of things, actually. Here it is.
Mate, this is my life.
5 a.m. and I'm late for the bus, cause I had to turn around and head home for a dump. The bus driver waits and keeps on going. He sparks my day without even knowing. I make it to the city before sunrise, and I jump into the lift that Jimmy drives. He says life's so good I wouldn't be there for quits, but something tells me he's full of shit. Cause the cops and balls drawn on the walls. He thinks he's being funny, but I know he's just bored. Cause I'm high vis, I'm low res, I'm at work here, but I tell you I don't care. Cause I'm helping for the weekend, and Monday comes around and I'll do it all again. I'm a weekend whiz kid, low res, high vis. I should have been a banker, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's the weekend, it's the weekend, I'm all about the weekend, it's the weekend. The boss is always telling us what we're doing wrong. He thinks he owns our nuts cause he bought him for a song, and he knows we'll bitch about him when we hit the pub at lunch. But we know he's got a point cause we're never doing much. I spend the whole day napping in the toilets, chatting in the stairs, hiding round the corners, with one eye on the clock and the other on my phone. I'm nicking out early, Jimmy takes me home, and there's cups and bowls drawn on the walls. He thinks he's being funny, but I know he's just bored. Cause I'm high vis, I'm low res, I'm at work here, but I tell you I don't care. Cause I'm helping for the weekend, and Monday comes around and I'll do it all again. I'm a weekend whiz kid, low res, high vis. I should have been a banker, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's the weekend, it's the weekend, I'm all about the weekend, it's the weekend. So let me tell you about my greatest vision, about living in a world without ambition. So grab a seat, sit back and listen.
It's the weekend. The weekend is the
It's
great
the-
leveler, isn't it? Doesn't matter what
It is.
what you do during the week. You can get to a gig and meet 20 different people with 20 different occupations, all in the
Mate,
room to hear magic.
yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
you know what? I've grown up. Fuck. I've worked my working life in commercial construction, and that song. I used to honestly. I'd go in the city at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I would just look at this sea of high vis shirts, and everyone's just got this look on their face, like just want to be somewhere else. And the whole point of being high vis or wearing a high vis is that you actually stand out. But when you're in the sea of high vis, you're just another drop in the ocean, man. And I used to
Sure.
find it really funny. I used to just sit there just going, this is just so fucking weird, isn't it? And I used to think that nothing could steal my identity more than just putting on my fucking work clothes, man. And I just lost all sense of I lost what I felt was my uniqueness. And yeah, it was kind of weird. And I don't hate it. I love working. I love everything that comes from working, and the fantastic life I have is 100% because of the opportunities I've had to have employment, but just being caught in the grind and Friday afternoons knowing full well the weekend's arrived, and it's just you can just be as far away from that as possible. That's what that song's about.
Yeah.
Um,
And when low res can become high res on a
Yeah.
weekend where you start to become yourself again, I suppose, strip that cape off, get rid of that backpack for life, and enjoy the weekend. That's what we work for.
It's what we work for. I was honestly last night I was explaining to my mum. She was like, my mum called up and she's like, oh yeah, this artist, this, that, and he paints on walls, and it made me think of you because you've got that song where something, something, something on the walls. And I was like, Mum, it's cock and balls on the walls. And she's like, I beg your pardon? I'm like, yeah, no. The construction industry, it's mind bending. Just everywhere you look, someone's drawing a cock and balls on something. And she's like, I did not know that's what you were saying in that song. I just like, here I am, 56, getting in trouble by my mum for swearing.
Yeah. It's got to be one of the best misread or misheard lyrics, doesn't it? There's always a
gotta
story
be.
in one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to
In
have
fact,
it from your mum.
I'll tell you another
it's
story
gold.
about it.
Go
When we
for it.
recorded that, our babyface guitarist, Floyd, who was 18 at the time, he was doing the backup vocals, and he kept missing that part, going, well, whatever the lyrics are, blah, blah, but he'd always just skip out on cocks and balls on the wall. I went, Floyd, it fucking says cocks and balls. And he's like, no, man, I'm not going on tape saying cocks and balls. I'm like, what? He's like, my mum might hear this. I was just like, what? What the? It's just, anyway, just
There are
stupid stuff. Funny.
There are some good boys in the world still.
Still, some people who care about what their mums think.
Yes. Let's in this one talking about things that concern what other people think of the online trolls and this component around normality and pretty normal. This song, how do you kind of deal with that culture of the online troll factor these days? How did that come across in this song, Pretty Normal?
My wife has a successful business, and a huge part of her business is online. And there was this moment where my son had done something, and she commented, and then people chimed in, and it just was this moment where it just seemed like everyone who wanted to be an asshole just chimed in on this thing that was just purely innocent, caring, loving of mother-son sort of moment. And it just got me thinking, it's not normal. Like, people think it's absolutely fine under the the anonymity of whatever platform or whatever the hell it is, and they just attack people so mean. And that's the basis of the song. It's just like, it's not normal. Yeah, it's normal if you're a fuckwit, absolutely. But it's wild. The wild some of the stuff I've seen where people who have an online presence just get attacked. And anyway, that's that song.
Well, some of us are trying to do the good thing on these online platforms here, like this podcast, and having a chat about musicians, about life.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've probably come across it where someone's just said something so unnecessarily negative for what purpose?
Correct.
Like, and I've seen it. And then being a father, you've seen your kids get sort of shot down online and stuff. And I don't know. It's just something that I think it's a modern problem. And I chose to write a song about it. And it's another song that's a bit swearsy. And then my wife was like, why do all your songs have swear words? And like, not as in, she's like, do you have to swear in every song? I went, I think I've just decided on writing music how I speak. And unfortunately, I swear a lot. So it's there in the music.
You don't have to, but sometimes it's just a reflection of the way the world is and the way we are. So here it is. Smokes and mirrors have no place, mate. It just all comes out. So here it is. Pretty normal.
To roll on down from your
Oh, the world of screaming guitars and killer drum beats, mate.
Yeah, man.
Long may that continue.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just haven't seen these videos forever, and
Good.
I just keep forgetting that. Yeah, we did that. That's right. Little lyric
Yeah.
video. That's what that was.
Yeah. Love a lyric video.
It's nice to be able to actually read along as you're, listening.
See if we got it right on the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mixing and mastering this album. And you worked with David Ackerman and Casey Rice, I believe. Talk to me a little bit about that process. Putting this album together. Probably reflavoring a few of the old songs that you pieced together with some new ones.
100%.
Talk to me about how that all came together.
So first thing I'll talk about David Ackerman. Why was trying to find someone. We'd previously done some recording, and not that we're unhappy with it, but it didn't capture what we thought was the sound we were trying to get. And I was trying to explain to the dude who recorded it previously was that we're just trying to get more of just an indie rock sound. And I'd reached out to my brother, who's in the music industry himself, and was just like, dude, who do we get? He went, I'll put you onto someone who knows. And anyway, I reached out to his mate. His mate was like, you've got to just get in contact with this guy, David Ackerman. He's really cool. So I reached out to Dave, and we basically went into his studio, and we got to talking, and within about 5 minutes, he went, I'm just going to set up a tape player, 8 mics, and I hope you guys know your songs well, because we're just going to be doing live takes, and that's how we're going to do it. And I was just like, that is exactly what I was looking for. So he became our guy, and we have since formed a great friendship, and we talk regularly about music, I guess, really. And we recorded as I said, originally in 2024, enough songs to put on an album. And when we decided to do additional recordings to sort of make it have a bit more originality, or sort of unreleased songs on the album, there was a distinct difference between the first batch of songs we recorded and the second batch. There's just sonically just different sounds. And David was just so absolute that he needed to get that fluent. So wow, I think mixing got up to like 33, the new we have this app called Sampling, and every time a new mix comes through, it gets updated, and it was like something like 33rd version of the album, and he was just into it. And it was a conversation that I had with him, which was your album too, bro, and I want you to be happy with it. So we just let that happen, because it's like, how often do you find people that are passionate about what they're doing with your art? So Casey Rice, we were going to get Mikey Young to master. He'd mastered some of the first songs that we'd originally done, and he was unavailable given the time frame that we were trying to work to, which was in the end got blown out by heaps just for different things. And we spoke to Casey Rice, and he was like, yeah, absolutely, I can do it. But how that worked out for us was just such a positive and great thing, because he was just really patient with our process. We're kind of like knuckleheads. We don't really know what's going on, so we're just like, making requests that professionals probably wouldn't make. Anyway, the long and short of it is, it took a while longer, but both David and Casey were into it and liked it, and that became really evident. for us, and that just made me feel good about the album. And it just ended up being something that felt like there was a group of us that cared about this, as opposed to just us and someone was just taking a paycheck from us, you know.
Sure. There's a magic with that you're not just, you're right, you're not just fronting it up and showing it to someone else and them saying, well, what do you want to do now? They had a real place in this album, which is really cool.
100%. And
Yeah.
David was just adamant. He's just like, dude, I've got to remix this and do this. And we would have talks, and then we'd listen through, and we'd have these conversations where only I could hear things that he couldn't hear and Casey couldn't hear. And it's like, am I being a dick? Am I now just going down the rabbit hole and losing objectivity? And then we would go back and we would do things like remove everything else out except for this vocal track and this vocal track. And then also go, and that's the little thing I could hear that was annoying the shit out of me. And they're like, all right, well, there it is. And then we start again. And then anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was invested, and that just felt cool. You know, I just felt like we're doing something great. You know, I really felt that. And it's a cool record, maybe not the greatest record ever, but it's got the vibe that we wanted, and it was a really great experience.
Super important, and that's the way you'll always remember this big debut album, no matter what period of your musical life and journey this comes at. It's a really important one, that this is a really special moment that hits vinyl
100%.
to you guys, and becomes exactly what you wanted it to be, with no maybes, we should have's.
Yeah, and also really positive. It was just a positive experience, you know. We had fun. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Canberra Kids, Running Wild. Here it is. There you go. We were just Canberra kids running wild. Isn't that a great line for what everyone that grows up and sits back and reflects back through an old photo album or an old footage or something, an old story, jumps on the old mongoose again like you guys did in those clips. Talk to us about Canberra kids running wild and just that experience to reflect back on into your 50s now and reflecting back kind of when we were kids.
Yeah, look, I introduced that song. It's, you know, it's a song about Canberra, but anyone who's, I guess, anyone who's grown up anywhere can identify with it, because everyone's got their own little story about those years. But you know, we were just fucking naughty kids, man. We grew up in Canberra and we were naughty kids. Like, we would just go out and make so much trouble. There's just nothing to do. And we literally would just roam the streets, just wander around and just do the dumbest of dumb things just for our own entertainment. And we played Saturday night, and one of my friends that I have been friends with since I was 12 years old came down from Byron to come and watch the show. And we all drove back together after the show and sort of dropped off at our houses and whatnot. And we were just talking about growing up in Canberra and just how absurd it was and the things that we used to do. And we just laughed the entire way home, man. It's just, as I said, just all my friends were delinquents, and at the time I didn't think it. That was just 100% the truth. Yeah. I've got friends that have just gone on to do the most craziest and stupid of things, but we just always had this bond because of what we did when we were that age. Anyway, I decided to put it into a song, and that's how it came out.
Beautifully captured, and a great reflection that everyone can reflect back on their childhood as small or as massive as some of those moments were. We were kind of just those kind of kids running wild, drawing pictures, doing stupid shit, being stupid, getting in trouble, 100%. Getting punched up, doing all those things.
I grew up on a street called Anderson Street, and it was in what they call Nappiesville. It was just a new suburb, and it was affordable housing. Our house was a government house, so people could just take a mortgage out with the government and get a house. And that whole suburb was pretty much that. And I was one of 6 kids, the youngest, up for many years until my little sister came and ruined that for me. But I remember we would sit out the front of our house, and there'd be 35 kids out the front, just bored. What do we do? I don't know. And we grew up next to an industrial estate, so we would just get on our push bikes and just ride all day, and of course get up to no good.
It was a special time when life was that simple, hey?
No phones. No phones, no evidence.
Yes. But a few clips to put your mind at ease of some of the crazy stuff that did happen, but or reflect on anyway. But all right, here's another one. We've got 2 more songs to get through where we've got some crackers on this album. So it was important that we kind of grabbed as many as we could. But this one, a bit of a fave of mine called Julia. Here it is.
Oh, thanks, Aaron. Me too.
She slowed me down, she told
Oh, I drifted off then into a bit of self-indulgence, as that song does. It's great. I had to play it all, Julia.
It's a cracker.
Tell me about first loves in this case.
Let me tell you about that song. Has a special place in my heart, bro. For a couple of reasons. I've actually got on video me writing that song, and because my daughter was in the lounge room, I have my house just littered with guitars, so if I get the urge, I can just pick one up, no matter what room I'm in. I love it. I just spread them around. And my daughter was like, "Tell me about your car, Dad." And she was just taking the piss out of me. I've got a 1969 Alfa Romeo Giulia, and I just literally picked up the guitar, started going, "Julia, Julia." And then I was kind of like laughing and going, I was a bit obnoxious, but at the same time I was going, it's kind of got something. And then she left, and then I went down and penned the rest of the song. But that song is so much fun to play. It just pumps, man. It's cool. It's fun. But it's written about my car, my Alfa Romeo, my Giulia, and as I said to my wife, you don't know what love is unless you've got something like a Giulia in your life.
And that car teaches us so many things. Yeah, some of those lyrics do. It's great. Your favorite track on Boss right now, is that it, or is there another one?
Oh, I Ebb and Flow, man. That definitely is a highlight for me. I always get it, but also play where it's placed on the album, because the way the songs sort of ebb and flow. There's a couple of poppier songs before that one, Perfect and whatnot. But I think, what's the song I sort of go back and forth between. I like Bad Advice. I keep thinking Thin Lizzy, The Knack. And I haven't sort of, it's weird. I'm trying to put it in a box myself. I guess that, but I just love that sort of like the way we've dropped the guitars. It's syncopated. Dun 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 dun. You know, I love it. It's fun. I think the song that I love, I'm really, as I said earlier, I love writing lyrics, and I want my lyrics to make sense. And I can't just write something for the sake of filling in a space. To me, things have to make sense. And I think the song What You're Worried About is probably my favorite. I think it's got a catchy little hook with the guitar, the lead guitar, but lyrically, I'm just really so happy with it. And it's a song for me where it's almost an affirmation, a positive affirmation. Just try not to be worried about the smaller things in life. Put energy into the things that actually matter. Because, you know, the song itself basically is for everything that's ever happened, absolutely everything, right from maybe the Big Bang, whatever your belief is, right up until right now, everything has happened and got us to this point right now. You and me talking is a consequence of everything before us. And a lot of bad things have happened to people, and a lot of good. But ultimately, that ends up being behind us, and we should just be caring about the things that we can have an influence on, and be mindful about the things that we worry about. And that song, yeah, it means a lot to me, that one.
And as the song says, we turned out all right in amongst all that.
Exactly.
Well, there's two songs you got to jump on and check out, because we're playing neither of them tonight. But that just means we're going to have to get you back another time with maybe a couple of the boys, and we'll chat a little bit more about the music 100%. As it finds its place out there in the world. A couple of quick ones to finish on, and then we're going to finish with the final track. But we touched on some of your biggest influences before, and probably your biggest love being Bowie that we discussed. But was he the biggest musical influence for kind of someone you've wanted to capture in that music industry? If you could kind of pigeonhole yourself to say, not that necessarily you're Bowie-esque by all means, but
No,
what
I
about
appreciate what you're
Bowie?
saying, and I do understand what you're saying as well. It's like, who has sort of laid that bed that you want to lie in?
Yeah, that biggest seed that's kind of placed in your heart that you can't, or you keep returning to, and it's one that you just go, oh yeah, it's just got to be.
Oh, there's so many things. Like, I love Fugazi, and
Yeah.
I'll listen to it till I'm sick of listening to them. I love Husker Du, and I will listen to them till I'm sick of it. But I love different elements of what they do. I love Fugazi's rhythm. I love their melodies, but I also love Husker Du's their power punk pop, you know. And then it's the Pixies, and then I don't know, man, Ace of Spades. I just get so excited. I just get excited by guitar music, really.
Yeah.
Like, and there are a lot of other things that I do listen to. I love jazz. I love just getting and I hope, I know there's been a bit of a pushback on Spotify, but weirdly, I'm still a Spotify guy, probably because I'm lazy. But I just love just going, jazz for dinner, and just listen to something I've never heard before, and I just love it. I couldn't specifically say one person that's been the absolute influence on me. Sex Pistols. I mean, with What You're Worried About, that song, in the middle of it, there's into the second verse, there's a little rundown, and that was because I was watching the Sex Pistols, and they were doing their intro to Bodies live, and I was going, oh, I just want a big fat sound like that before you come into a song. So originally that rundown was at the beginning of the song, but then we were kind of going, why don't we just keep doing this? Why don't we just say that and do it once, But guitar music, I think just rock and roll. Rock and roll is my greatest influence, bro.
Yeah. So I am going to pin you on one you need to come up with now, but it's either a guitar lick or a song in particular that features the ultimate guitar for you. I need one song off you. That's going to be a tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough. I think, and it just sounds so generic, but I think the Pixies' "Here Comes Your Man" is just a cracker. I wrote a song for my son, believe it or not. Or believe it or not, like that's a weird thing to do. I wrote a song for my son, and I tried to put into it a reference he had made to what he thought was the best guitar solo ever, which was, he reckons, is Jonathan Richman, Modern Lovers' girlfriend. And just that, just such a simple guitar. I love simple guitar.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know, man. That's such a big question, If I do come back on, which I'm more than happy to anytime you like.
Sure.
Hit me up with some questions first, and I'll come well prepared and answer them thoroughly.
Okay, this is the reason we don't go too far with history and research. We just put it in as what
I
you
know. I just get overwhelmed with the
what you
thought
feel,
of
and no, that's okay, no problem. Was there something you've listened to recently in the last 24 hours of whether it came on the radio or you hit it on Spotify and you just
I've been
go,
listening to the
God,
new
that's
Eddie
a
Current
killer song.
Suppression Ring album.
Yep.
I'm digging that.
Yep.
Digging that. They're playing here on Friday, and
Perfect.
I'm like, I am getting there. I have to make that happen.
Perfect.
That's exciting. What else have I been listening to? shit, I just listen to so much. I saturate myself to the point where I can't even nail it down to one thing. You
That's
know
a
what I
good
love?
thing, though. That's the
You
love
know
of
what?
music.
I know. Yeah, one song that just keeps coming back to me in my lifetime that I just absolutely love and no one ever seems to talk about is AC/DC, If You Want Blood.
Mm.
That is a song. I used to do Muay Thai and I thought that's going to be my walkout song. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm getting into the ring. If you want blood, it's just got it. Anyway.
That can we expect to hear that in the lead up to a Vors gig live at any one stage?
Wow.
Who
We
knows?
often
There you
talk
go.
about covers and things. We were covering Devo, Just the Girl. And we regularly have text messages flying back and forth. Oh, we should cover that. Oh, we should cover this. If You Want Blood by AC/DC, no, that maybe
knows?
never will happen.
Correct. All right. And the last one for you. One word to describe the Vors live experience.
If it was just 2 words, it'd be better. But 1 word.
I'll take 2.
Okay. Fuck, I need a few more. You know what? I'm going to give you a bunch of words because 1 word's not enough. We are
Cool.
fun. We're energetic. We're the right amount of sloppy, but we are well rehearsed and tight. We just bring it to the best we can every time.
Perfect. That's a great way to be. Fun, the right amount of sloppy. I love it. What a great way to describe
You
it,
don't
man.
want to be
Famo,
too.
Famo, use that one. Put it out there, mate. The Vors, the right amount of sloppy. I love it. I expect to see it on a tee at some stage.
I'll write a song, the right amount of sloppy.
Yeah, correct. All right. Thanks for joining me, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. We
Thank
are going
you,
to
Aaron.
finish
Thank you
with
so
calling
much.
out to you, and we're going to wrap it up for tonight. But please hit me up at any stage, you guys. Release music or the next time you decide to jump on and extend a bit of a road trip and a tour, wherever it be. I'd love to come and get along to one of your shows soon and see the magic of the Vors
Awesome.
together.
With the right amount of sloppy. Thanks, Aaron.
Correct. No worries. See you out there. Here
All right,
it is.
take it
Calling
easy,
out
bro.
to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Left on Sunday, I didn't really think it through, so I hit the highway. Didn't know what else to do. I thought about time, thought about just simply
Seems like the perfect way to end that. Calling out for you, call out one of your mates tomorrow and get along to a gig this weekend. Most importantly, check out the Vors, VORS. Jump on and check it out. There's plenty to go around, and this new album is a ripper called Boss. Please get out and send it to a few friends, and thanks to Wally from Cheer Squad for doing the beautiful things you do, mate, putting music out into the big world for bands like this, and to Chris Familton, thanks for connecting us once again. And Thursday night, we get a chance to talk to the Great Falls in relation to new music for them as well. So look forward to the chat. We'll see you out there soon. Enjoy the big wide world that is at the moment. It's a confusing place at the moment, but the magic in music makes it all worthwhile. It's a special place, a special gift to have musicians to do what they do, largely unrewarded for money. But thank you. It makes the world a much better place. Thank you.